Welcome to Win with lifestyle entrepreneurs Josh Williams and Justin Knoll. Each week, we will be bringing you inspiring people or messages to help you win in every aspect of life. We're not missing a beat coming into February, so today we've got Bruce Lund. What's up, Bruce?
What's going on, my friends?
Got him on here today. For those that don't know Bruce, he's been 90 Day Sales Manager. He runs that here in Colorado. He's got side effects going on his phone right now.
I'm trying to share it, and I'm looking like a bozo over here, so I'll just stop.
Technology's hard to
do. That's it. It's super difficult sometimes.
Life is hard.
That's it. Just go with it. Well, it looks like you joined, but Damon, Eddie, I'm not lean. I'm 3 pounds down is all, man. But, that is leaner than I was last week. Nice. So get some.
That's right,
yeah. We'll come back to the fat boy moment. I got a few. All right. So, fellas, what's up?
What's going on?
Man, I'm ready. I got spring fever.
Oh.
I can feel it. Like baseball's in the air.
Yes.
We got blue skies. Snow is melting like crazy right now. I know it's not here yet, but I am super excited for just some spring, man.
Yeah, I was walking out of a facility this weekend, Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And it was showing baseball. And that's just kind of a given to me. Like, you see baseball on TV.
Life is good.
It's spring.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, life is good. We're getting it. Here we go.
Pitchers and catchers are reporting in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Oh. So, yep.
Yes.
We're
and
there.
What was it, 60 on Saturday?
Yeah. Yep.
Get outside, people. So, take your phones with you so you can still plug into our podcast, but get outside. Right?
And when is opening day here? Because it's like a holiday. I've been here for 2 years, and man, opening day is a ton of fun.
It's the real deal here. It is more than most cities in the U.S. It's pretty fantastic.
Oh, I agree.
April 5th.
April 5th.
We're excited,
yes,
man. We're excited. So
I made the mistake my first year because I didn't know. I took an afternoon meeting on opening day, and I had to take an Uber to the meeting.
Yeah, you can't drive. Yeah, it's
because of traffic.
Yeah, traffic.
Because of traffic.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, I go with my buddy every year, and one year we went, and we're in the parking. Find ourselves in a parking lot. This is back in the party days. We don't party anymore. We found ourselves in a parking lot, and I looked down at one point, and I have like one thing of Jungle Juice, which is purple, and another one of Purple Passion. I'm like, this is high school all over again. What are we doing?
That's it right there.
And I was in my 30s. I'll own it. I was in my 30s. And I finally, we were partying, we were having a good time. Everybody's just going and this and that. And I looked over him like, hey, dude, you want to go in the game now? I mean, let's go. Exciting. The season's starting. He looks at me, he's like, it's the 6th inning.
Those are the fun days, though.
It was amazing.
You got to give yourself permission to have days like that.
You got to have it. You got to have it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we're all excited. Baseball runs deep on this table, I
That's
understand.
it, man.
So,
That's
right.
it. Well, Bruce, man, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who you are, where you came from. You're kind of newer to Colorado, although it feels like you've been here forever. On a good note, I'm not, that's a little smack talk, but I'm not coming at you. Tell us about those things. Tell us about you.
For sure, yeah. So about 2 years and change, I moved from Nashville to Denver, and when I moved out here, I didn't know a single person. So I helped grow basically $1 million, $2 million business in Nashville as the vice president, director of sales. I use those titles. We were basically a 2-man show.
Yeah.
And
when you're a 2-man show, though, you can have any title you want.
That's right. That's right.
Go with it.
And so it was in the back of my mind. I'm like, man, I really had this. We called it talent supply at that time. Like we get this, we get your newer, younger talent ready faster.
Yeah.
And so I was in charge of creating that program in addition to coaching the top 1%ers out there all over the country in real estate, mortgage, title, insurance, financial. And I'm like, man, this program could be really, really good. So I started calling it 90 Day Sales Manager because really we're your 90 Day Sales Manager. It's like P90X of sales training.
Yeah.
And so I was like, man, I want to go launch this thing. And then something happened in my life. My dad passed away.
Yeah.
So that was that kick in the ass, right? That's that you get one life kind of a thing. Yep. And so that was really the catalyst for me to make a big change. And candidly, everybody thought I was crazy. People are like, are you going through like a midlife crisis? Like, what are you doing? You're moving to Colorado. You don't even know anybody. And, you guys have this ultra successful business that you're running. And I wanted to go be the head coach, as entrepreneurs at a certain point, you go from wanting to be the assistant coach to the head coach. And so that's really what I did coming out here. And now 2 years later, I have a lot of really cool people I get to hang out with,
Yeah.
you know, all day, every day. And Justin and I were talking off air. It's like, you know, the real estate community, it's like Kevin Bacon, 5 degrees separation, but it's more like 2.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
don't piss anybody off.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, be very careful.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. So here we are 2 years later, and you know we're now starting to launch our 90-day sales manager program in other markets. I go to Las Vegas next week.
I know, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I believe in it. You know, and
Yeah.
it's like any of us. You know,
Yeah.
you believe you have something that's differentiated, that's unique, and now it's just like, hey, how do we spread this thing all over the country?
Yeah.
Yep.
So what's your plan for that? I mean, you know, we'll get into a little bit more,
Yeah.
but like, you know, let's wait a second. We're gonna get to that in a
Okay.
second. But so tell us where you come from. Like, were you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So background about myself, and I know, like, you know, I don't want to lose everyone because, you know, we all have our own backgrounds and stuff like that. But, you know, I grew up, quite honestly, I grew up in a trailer,
Yeah.
small town, Michigan, Paris, Michigan, which is population, who knows how many different people. Yeah, we always do the hand thing in Michigan. So right about here, right? And so, you know, sports was always my thing. So
Yeah.
we're talking about sports.
Yep.
And so, you know, my dad wasn't around a lot, you know, early on in my life, stuff like that. And so I would VHS record these athletes, like Ray Allen at UConn shooting a jump shot. And I would like literally mimic these guys in our living room trailer, like
Yeah.
on VHS over and over. And Alex Rodriguez and his batting stance before I knew he was on steroids,
Yeah.
right? And Greg Maddux throwing a baseball. And I would just mimic these things over and over. And then I would go outside and I would literally draw up like a square on a fence. And I would just throw that ball into it and pretend like I'm Greg Maddux. And so that was really, you know, my upbringing is sports was always my thing, and it was always my driver, it was always my passion.
Yep.
And I wouldn't be where I am today without that, without the team, without the coach, you know, the great coaches in my life. And so what I say, and the reason I do what I do is I believe coaches do 3 things for us, and you guys would agree with this because you're both coaches,
Right.
Yep.
And many different facets, not only on your teams, but also in actually athletics. So great coaches do 3 things. They make us have conversations we don't want to have. They make us do things that we don't want to do, but they help us become something we never thought we could become.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so thank goodness to all the great coaches and teachers and trainers in my life who have helped me get to where I am now.
I mean, your coach was a VHS for a while, man.
Yes.
I mean, that's somebody with an entrepreneurial spirit. You know, like, hey, I'm going to do something, but you had to do it yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, especially you're not going to step outside when it's negative 55.
That's right. In Michigan, it's cold, man.
Yeah.
It's cold. And I mean, I do remember that shoveling off the basketball court.
Yeah.
You know.
What is your time frame out there for summer in Michigan? What is that?
It's depends on the year, but I would say like, you know, June to September.
Yeah, that's a short summer.
It is, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful
when it's-
during those 4 or
It
5
sounds like a
months.
beautiful place to visit.
For sure.
Yeah.
No offense to my Michigan friends. But I mean, that's honestly, before I moved to smack talking my own state, now I can't go home.
Ruined you.
But before I moved here, I was this close to going back into Grand Rapids area
Yeah.
and launching this thing.
Yeah.
And I just started giving it more thought. I'm like, no, I'm not ready for that yet.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to go back to that cold.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yep.
So you just grew up kind of on your. I did the same. It was not. I mean, my mom was amazing. My dad was around somewhat. Sounds somewhat similar, but we taught ourselves. You know, just through the mimicking and all that. We didn't really have VHS when I was a kid. Gonna date myself here a little bit.
Going old school.
Yeah, we went old school. We had beta. But it was that self-discipline. That's something that we always look for here and in our businesses is people
Right.
that are self-disciplined and have a history of that. Is there something you see when you're coaching people or just meeting people, or you look for patterns of success? Because we talked about it earlier, right? Success leaves clues
That's right.
all the time. Is there something you find in that self-discipline? Is there something that triggered them maybe in their childhood or something? Or is it just either you do or you don't?
There's usually some kind of internal driver for sure, right? So for a guy like me and for a lot of us, it's like that chip on your shoulder,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
I remember I was growing up, I was always tiny. You know, I didn't hit a growth spurt until I was a junior in high school. So I
Right.
was like 5'4", 5'5",
Yeah.
$150. And so I had
Trying
to be...
figure out if there's a problem with that right
Oh,
now.
yeah, sorry.
Oh, you good? You good?
Josh is 5'4", 205.
5'4", 205. Keep going. Sorry, my bad.
You're like Rudy Rudiker over here. So, but no, I think there's there's definitely has to be an internal driver for people, whether it's, you know, early struggles a lot of times, you know, whatever that might be. Because I actually had my boss when I was a professor. he asked me, he's like, well, how do you engineer like my son to have that drive, right? And I'm like, you really can't.
You can't.
You know, we can try to inspire people, but at the end of the day, we can't internally motivate anyone. We can inspire them to think bigger and to give them a game plan and stuff like that. But, you know, I do have a PhD in human performance. That's like a little humble brag. So there's a lot of psychology behind the things that we go out and coach on. But, man, that internal driver is just one of those things, like you either have it or you don't.
Yeah, so you do a lot of coaching. Obviously, man, that's what you do, man. That's your gig. How do you get that inspire going? Like, if you see someone, you see him struggling with your program, you're like, man, how do we get this person engaged? Like, what are the techniques you take to inspire people?
Yeah. So I actually try to do it on the front end more than I try to do it during the process.
Yeah.
So I have a clear filter. My filter is, are you hungry, humble, coachable, enlightened? I've added the fourth one in there. Enlightened is like, you know your story, you know your struggles, you know that kind of stuff. You've been battle tested, right?
Yep.
So hungry, humble, coachable. If you're not any of those three things, I can't help you.
Yep.
You know, if you're not going to show up, you're not going to hit play, you're not going to do the heavy lifting, then there's really nothing I can do for or with you. Right. So those are the three first criteria. And I say, are you enlightened? Which really means you want to go play at the next level in your business. So to answer your question, I don't, honestly. I just say, like, this is our program. I was reading a book the other day, and it's kind of like so the participants are the heroes. Right. It's their story. I'm just the guide. Yep. So they're Luke Skywalker, and I'm Yoda, right? And so that's really the mindset that I tell them is, I'm trying to give you clarity, and I'm trying to empower you to take more action. Yeah. But I'm not going to walk around and try to self-motivate you all day, every day. Like, that's not my job. Right.
I think that's the big misnomer in coaching is, like, we're sitting here all the time just constantly rah, 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 rah. That's got to come from within. Yep. I completely agree. Yep. I completely agree. So that's interesting. I was going to add, my next question was, so when you talk coachable, what does that mean to you? I love the hungry and humble and the enlightened. That is awesome.
Coachable really means that you take it and do something with it, right? It's not just lip service. Yep. And I've been on this rant lately about, like, everybody gives things lip service. So in today's world, we live in this feel-good society. Right. And I'm not saying I'm an asshole by any means, okay?
Well,
I try to combine both of them.
You're real.
There's actually somebody that told me, he's like, you're a good blend between the core and ninja. Like, you're kind of in the middle there, to where you have that daily accountability. Yep. and so they say I'm intense but positive and fun. Yeah. All right. So, but coachable is really just that part of it where you'll actually go do something with it. Yeah. Because a lot of people, you know, they go to these conferences, they go to a 2-day conference, and it's cotton candy satisfaction, right? Yeah. It tastes good for a little bit, and then you come back and you get punched in the mouth. And so what really happens from that? Or a lot of times people, no offense to my real estate friends, you guys will go to a conference, or a marketing conference, and now all of a sudden you want to change your CRM, you want to change your entire marketing plan, and it's like, what the hell are you guys doing, man? Right. Like, you're so influential, I guess. I don't know what it is, but it's like whatever you're doing currently is working. Just make these little tweaks in your business.
Yeah. One thing I do find to that point is salespeople are the easiest people to sell to.
All day.
It's almost like we have this almost like charity inside of us. We're like, we know you're busting your tail. I don't need your product, but I appreciate what you're doing, so I'm going to buy it anyway. And it just lays around. Yeah. But it's so true. We go to these conferences, and we've talked about it on the podcast. Is hundreds of thousands of square feet of booths and exhibitors and all these things, and just lines and droves of people. And you just look, and walking around, that 1% of them will actually use it. Yep. The rest will never, ever use it. And it just makes me nuts. I just want to scream at them, stop it. Go actually do something. Yep. So it's crazy.
Well, to that point, where as entrepreneurs, we have monkey mind. It's natural for all of us. That's what makes us who we are, is we're naturally curious. Yeah. And, most of us are high drivers, so therefore we want to go play at a different level. So we jump, it's monkey mind is jumping from idea to idea. Right. And as we all know, in coaching and in sales and entrepreneurship, it's the execution gap, right? The number one gap in the world, it's not the idea gap. We have plenty of those. Yeah. It's the execution gap. And so that's why I love coaches, is they will walk you through a process and give you that plan and be that guide. So I mentioned that Yoda versus Skywalker earlier. Like, we have a 90-day process. It's really just a 90-day guide. And if you do 80% of what we ask you to do, we will guarantee you increase your production.
That's fantastic.
You know, so that's really what it is it's just a guide of doing things every single day, which is the daily disciplines. You know, we all want this like new get rich quick, you know, wealth without work strategy. It doesn't exist. I mean, it just doesn't. There are things that work and things that don't.
Right. You know, the thing I love about it,
I'm on a soapbox right now, I feel like.
Dude, jump on that soapbox. Have fun. The inspiring piece, the coachability piece, one thing I always realized, and I didn't really bring this into business until later, but when I was coaching my kids, you know, my high school kids, until they have their aha moment where they're like, they feel like they're the ones that got it, right? I don't ever want to take that from them. I want them to have that aha moment, right? But when they get that moment, it seems like that's when they go and they just develop, right? And from that point, it just moves on. And when I started bringing that into business and watching some of the people that I was mentoring in the business piece of it, as soon as they got that moment, they owned it, right? Because they thought it was theirs. And that's what we want them to do. You want them to think it's theirs, right? Because you want them, that's when they buy in, is when they're like, I created this, right? So what's that movie? I think it's Mr. Carter, and he's coaching the basketball team, right? And he's like, I did that. I tied that knot. That's my knot right there, right? It's that moment of like, that's me. I got it.
Is it sad that I know this movie that you're actually referencing? Samuel L. Jackson, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Great movie, man. Phenomenal. But great motivation story, everything. But when they get that moment, I just think that I love what you do right there, because you help guide them to their own aha moment so that they know it's theirs, they own it, and they move forward on it. That's huge.
The quote that I would use, or just the one-liner, is when you go from you think you can do it to you know you can do it. Like, that is so empowering for all of us, where, you know, like, you see other people doing it, you're like, I think I could go do that, you know, and that's a lot of us getting started. It's like, I think I can do this, and then at a certain point, you have that aha where, man, I know I can do this. I know I'm just as good, if not better, than all my competition out there. Right. And man, that is so much fun once you have that awakening, that enlightenment. That's really
that's the enlightenment.
Yeah.
I see when you say enlightenment, I think of ownership of ourselves. Right. We own what we are. We're not afraid of it. We're transparent with it. We're get it out there, and whatever happens from there. It's one thing I think that the industry has struggled with. We talked about it a lot here. Is the communication line between us and clients has changed. Right. It used to be a very bullet pointed, less filling tastes great. Here's all these reasons you should buy this product. And now it's the story. Now it's the story. And I think we're struggling as an industry and as professionals to tell our story, because it was always, well, I'm a realtor. I can help you. I can find you the right house. I can get you in the house. They don't need us for that anymore. Our job has changed. I think hopefully we're doing a better job of telling that story. Do you see any parallels between people that don't tell that story or don't have that enlightenment and the people that aren't doing the 80%? Is there a parallel there, or what other trends do you see, or things that you see that people that don't do the 80 are? No,
I think it's exactly right. We've made a shift, and and I'll actually blame Carnegie a little bit for this. How to Win Friends, Influence People, because going all the way back to that book, he would always talk about you need to be interested in other people, right? Always be interested, more interested. And I actually think, and I'm not saying don't be interested in other people, right? But I do think in today's world, you need to be interesting yourself. You need to have a story. And so that's one of the very first places that we started in our program. We call it an opportunity statement. You know, how do you turn your pitch, i.e. your beliefs, into money? So we talk about, it's kind of like the Simon Sinek, right? But it's like, what do you believe and why do you believe it? So one of the most important things that we coach on is, so my belief statement is, obviously, I believe that trained people always outperform untrained people. That's my tagline. It's everywhere. Like, that's my mantra. Right? So why do I believe that? Former college athlete, spent my entire life studying top producers, like watching VHS recordings in my living room trailer. Get a PhD, right? So all that kind of stuff, and now I get to coach top producers. So because of those beliefs, now this is what I get to go do all day, every day. So I have a story. And so when I tell people that, they immediately like, oh, what sport did you play, right? What school did you go to? What's your PhD in? Right? Well, you know, what top traits do top entrepreneurs have? So now I become interesting to them, and we just start an open dialogue. So that's exactly right. I think, we talk about the family, occupation, recreation, dreams, and be interested. I just think in today's world, man, you got to be interesting. Money follows attention. right? Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better.
Yeah.
To attract other people, we must become more attractive. So how do you find, package, and sell your special? Which is like one of my, like out of all the things that I do, man, that's fun for me.
Yeah.
I can tell. I get a little animated.
No, I love that. I love that.
But you enjoy what you do. And I mean, what?
That's
pretty good.
Yeah.
He is passionate, right?
Yeah, he's
it's
passionate.
amazing, like, to hear him speak,
Yeah.
right? He's like, yeah. But that is one thing that even when I went, I think I might have been part of maybe one of the first 90-day sales managers. Was that the first one you did?
It was the first one up north. We had been about a year in the program.
Okay.
And I mean, even since you've gone through it, it's night and day as far as the systems and.
But like the passion that you had when we went in, it's funny. We would get so off of whatever the topic was for the day, because Bruce would get passionate about something, then Gavin would get passionate about something, somebody, and then before you know it, it's a conversation.
Right.
But it was amazing, right? Those conversations were so fun to have, but it all started with your passion and what you're doing.
Yep.
Some of the other things that I love about what you got going on, Bruce, is that, man, you just network like nobody else, man. Like, that is what you do. And that's how you got to grow your business. But a lot of people really struggle with that piece of it, right? They have a big fear on the networking piece of it.
Yeah.
Like, how do you get past that? How do you go out and just like I'm just going to show up to this freaking event and I'm going to network people? Like, how
Don't
do you
know
do that?
anybody, just walk in.
Just walk in and start talking.
I mean,
go.
honestly,
Love that.
you have to. I mean, when I first moved out here, I don't know anybody. I mean, I can't be a secret agent and expect people to pick up the phone and call me. And I remember, because again, I am very passionate. Like, that's what I really sell on the front end, is I have this program and I think it's the best thing that's out there, right? And we're in Ninja Land. I didn't know Ninja was even out here when I moved out here, right? and there's a bunch of people in the core and Buffini and all these programs. And so I just have to sell my passion and my energy every day. And so that was really my thing, is just when I go to networking events, and this would be my biggest piece of coaching advice to anybody, would be, you're not trying to meet everybody in the room.
Correct.
Right? There's actually a concept called the networking jerk by Keith Ferrazzi, and it's like beer in one hand or a cocktail in one hand, business card in the other, right? We've all seen that guy or girl at networking events. So my thing was always, there's 3 to 5 people in this room that I'm meant to meet.
Yep.
Right? And as we're talking about in the Kevin Bacon degrees of separation, I don't need to meet everyone. Eventually, I will meet everyone, right? Like, I heard your name probably a year ago talking to this guy, right? And now this is probably like the first time we've spent intimate time together, right? So it's my opinion that I'm not going anywhere. And so I don't need to meet every single person in the room. So I meet the right 3 to 5 people and I go deep with them, And the other part of it is having that shared, like that opportunity statement is what I call it. What do you believe? Why do you believe it? Then what do you do? So I can know in the first 15 seconds if somebody fits my filter. I believe that trained people always outperform untrained people, and then I read their body language. If they look down, if they cross their arms, they look at me funny. Some will, some won't, so what? I can immediately move on to the next person. It doesn't make me right or you wrong. It just means it's not a fit.
It's not your audience right now.
That's exactly right. So I had that filter, number one, when I go networking, and number two is just understanding, like, I'm just trying to meet 3 to 5 cool cats that are in that room. And I really do, talking about the enlightenment part of all this, is I really do believe that in today's world, the 80-20 Pareto principle. Like, there's 20% of the people in the market that I'm going to resonate with, that I'm going to bond with, all that kind of stuff. And so those are the people that I'm looking for. So when you go to these networking events, you're not trying to meet all 100 people in the room. Right. Just bump into one that can turn into 2 and turn into 3.
So the thing I like too, though, is that when you do go to those events, you are pretty chill. You're pretty relaxed. You don't come across like Bruce, the 90-day sales guy, right?
I don't want to come across as that.
That's not who you are. I mean, you come back as just, hey, man, I just want to talk shop with you. Maybe smack talk a little bit. What's up? And then if we talk a little bit about some other stuff, then great. We can go from there. So I think your approach to how you do that is great. Your mindset, I love everything about that. I mean, that's why I plug into you. We stay in touch. But your mindset is in there. Is like, I'm going to go in and have a good time, and then if I meet those people, we're going to grow. Right. And I just went to an event the other night, and I literally watched a guy come in. 5 minutes, he was out. Right? He comes in, he walks around. I saw him shake one hand. Nobody else he knew. You could see him like a deer in headlights, just staring at people. And I watched him walk out the door. And I'm like, dude, like, go meet the 3 to 5 that are your people, right? So,
well, for some people, that's just, maybe they shouldn't be doing that. I'm not saying that everybody needs to go network and do that. If that doesn't fit your personality, figure out, be the best at what you're best at. Right? So 100%. You can still network and invite people over to your backyard for barbecues, right? 3 to 5 people. If you're a little more, what's it called? Intrinsic, right?
Yes.
If you're a little more that way, then you don't have to go to a 100-person networking event. But you can go a lot deeper with people that way too. Because I see a lot of people that are actually more intrinsic that have the strongest relationships with people.
Totally.
Because they have their top 25 or their top 50
and that's
people,
the focus.
and that's their focus, man. And those people will do anything with them.
So I always visually kind of put myself in the story. So I'm in this room, right? We're all sitting in this room. Close your eyes. We're in this room. We walk in. We don't know anybody. And we're like, oh, God, I have the drink and I have the business cards, and we're not doing that. But what are you looking for to find those 3 to 5? Is there something that triggers a conversation? Is it you talk body language? Is it the way they hold themselves in conversation with others? I mean, there's probably a plethora of things. But is there anything so it's for the audience that are like, I'm in that room and I don't know how to find the 3 to 5. What tips can you help with?
So I usually go for the young hustler.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the young hustler just because in my line of work, that's who I'm trying to attract in my coaching business anyways. And that's usually who I'm going to resonate with the most.
Yep.
And typically it's usually a guy because I can bullshit about sports or whatever, right? All that kind of stuff. And then that turns into, maybe let's go talk to this group over here, So early on, I would just do it that way. But nowadays, I call them body men. Like, I go with somebody else. Like, hey, Josh, you're like, Gavin's notorious for this, right? Like, Gavin Higashi, who networks like crazy. It's like, hey, Gavin, let's go to this networking event. We'll go together and work the room together. And then it just becomes easier that way.
Yeah.
So when you're first getting started, like I didn't know anybody, I just had to go do that. Like I'm just trying to meet anybody in there that would probably resonate.
Yeah.
But then over time, though, you like go with your referral partners.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're a real estate person and like go with your title person, go with your insurance person, go with your mortgage person.
Yeah.
It becomes a whole lot easier that way.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Misery loves company, right?
That's right. But I mean, to Josh's point, so, it's just having conversations, man. Like it's just not my style to be that pushy car salesman type. I just want to go have conversations, and then I can weave into the conversation what it is I do. It's that whole that's where like the success leaves clues, the know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
Right. There's a social identity that we all resonate with.
Totally.
And once we can connect with those people, now it becomes easy.
So I think for the audience or any of us as we're sitting here is really think which ones you do go towards. It's like double down on the things you're good at, right? And if you're not good at them, don't spend your time trying to get good at it if it's not going to pay you back. Yeah. And so know your audience, know who you like, know where your conversations are best. If you struggle with that conversation with an engineer like I do, I just don't go to an engineering conference, right? It's just stay away from that.
Yep. Well, it's kind of funny. So, a lot of the ones that I go to are more business to business.
Yeah.
Just because those are typically what I'm going to resonate with the most because of who I go after.
What's your job,
So it's a lot easier that way, is they're there to kind of schmooze and get to know people too.
Yeah.
But to your point there, it's, who are you going after? And I can relate everything to the dating world because I'm, shameless plug, I am single. So go ahead in there if you want to in the comments.
What's up, ladies?
Raise your hand, give me a holler. But it would be like, your type as a guy or a girl.
Yep.
And yet you keep going to the wrong type. Like I know this person over here is who I should be with, yet I'm going it's
here.
the same thing in networking. It's like you got to assess and evaluate who you're going after, and if that type of person isn't working for you, you got to shift that.
Shift it around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
The other thing too is that you guys, I've been to a lot of networking things. I mean, it's what I've done for 18 years, right? And my biggest failures is when I went into networking events with an agenda, right? I would go in there saying, hey, this is what needs to get accomplished. That crap never got accomplished, right? Because that would limit my conversations I would have with people. I wouldn't go after those same people. Don't get me wrong. You can go in there saying, hey, I want to talk to 3 to 5 people. But when you talk to them, you just got to be genuine, right? Yep. If you're slapping your agenda on people right when you have that 15 seconds of, is he interesting or not, you're just going to walk them away, right? They're going to be like, hey, I got to get out of here. This guy's either trying to sell me on something, he's trying to take me home tonight if he's single, whatever it might be, right? Yeah. So, I just, go in and just be genuine.
There's a weird dichotomy here. You're over here talking about taking people home that are single. What's going on?
It's his strategy today. We're trying to hook you up.
I'm trying to hook you up.
Apparently,
I
was
more talking about your guys' family.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Take it easy over here, man.
Sadly, we are family now.
Yeah, we are. Bring it. That's why, it's funny, Bruce comes in, he says, I know why I'm in the middle, because I got to separate you two.
Exactly.
I mean, full on, like, if Justin's mom or my mom was here, she'd be like, all right, I'm in the middle. You two on the ends. But that's how we roll. So
funny.
Well, dude, let's talk about little fat kid moment for a second.
Uh-oh.
Let's go. You know, I kind of prepped you for this a little bit.
Yeah,
I
so
said,
explain
come
it.
up with
That is,
something.
I'm just assuming what the fat kid moment means, but so explain it to me. Like, what am I coming up with here?
So we struggle, clearly. I mean, we love
With
to
our
eat.
eating
We
habits.
love to eat. We love bad food. It's good, but it's so bad. That's just us. We own it. We're enlightened by this fact. We don't hide from it, so we like to carry it along with us like just fat baggage. But part of that fun is let's talk about it. Let's share our story. Let's be real and inspire others to. It doesn't make us bad people or whatever. So we just share. Every week we just talk about a struggle for the week.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be like this moment in time where I ate, 6 steaks in one night. But
when I was 15. I
right.
used to-
No, this is a weekly thing where we just own that struggle for the moment.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
So fat kid moment for this. Actually, I'll go back to last week.
Okay.
So last week I was in Cancun. I had my first ever international gig. It was really cool. I was like, they were listening in Spanish while I spoke. It was really interesting. But so the 2 or 3 weeks leading up to that, I was doing the all-inclusive, all-adult resort thing. I won't say where I was going because you guys might be turned off by that. It was interesting for sure. So for about 2 or 3 weeks, I was doing the whole intermittent fasting and the cleansing and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, it like melted off of me.
Yeah.
So one of the things we talk about in coaching is the reward has to be greater than the sacrifice. So the reward was what? I'm going to be in Cancun, swim up bar. I don't want to look like the fat.
Good, yeah.
I don't want to look like the fat guy at the pool, right? So I did a really good job for those 3 weeks. Well, now this week, coming back from that, as we all know, I don't like once you lose that vision, the reward has to be greater than the sacrifice.
Yeah.
So even last night, I didn't even know about the fat kid moment. I went to Popeyes last night, man. Like I was driving by it. And I remember the day before, talking about marketing, the day before I saw their little $5 box, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then it just so happened to be in the neighborhood on my way home, and there's a Popeye. So I had a fat kid moment yesterday, actually. So I'm not proud of it. And I woke up today feeling like shit.
But
so
that's what happens.
That's what happens.
It's 2-piece and a biscuit. Did you get something
That's
like
right.
that? Yeah, man.
So, no. The 5 chicken tenders, biscuit, one side, and fat kid moment was, you can upgrade another side for $1. Okay, let's do that. Oh, you can upgrade the 5 tenders to 9 for an extra $2. Yeah, let's do that.
Absolutely.
Man, that meal was not. It was good, it was not good. Right.
Regret just settles in.
So yes, I did have a fat kid moment last night. In fact, so
that's all right.
But I'm going to Vegas on Sunday for the Super Bowl, and I'm going to have my little 2-day cleanse now again. I got to get back on the wagon.
The Super Bowl in Vegas being there is ridiculous. Have you done it before? Oh, dude.
Am I in trouble?
Yeah. You just don't drink anything before. Just get it all primed and ready to go. I'm
showing up
nonsense.
at 7 a.m., I believe. So I'm going straight to the hotel, give them my bags. I got a couple buddies that are going to be out there. So
perfect.
Scheduled
Dude, that
meetings for Monday, which is a bad idea. We'll see how those go.
Wow.
Well, let's hope those meetings are in Vegas.
No, they're going to be online. They're like
this.
Yeah.
So you can do it from the comfort of your own room.
Yeah, but at like 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be out West Coast time. In trouble. We'll see how these work.
We'll be thinking about you, friend.
That's right.
For sure.
Justin, what'd you have? Give us your fact.
Man, it's been pretty good. My days and nights are so busy right now, so I think the food prep is just something. It catches you off guard, right? I'm in between working out and going to a baseball practice. I'm eating a little bit of beef jerky and some peanuts. I'm like, this is not what I should be doing.
Yeah.
But I will say we made it through January, which was not that hard without doing any fast food. We don't do a lot of fast food anyway, but we just went no fast food for January. It's been fantastic. And so I'd highly suggest that. Here's what I will say is a couple of months ago, I discovered the joys of Nutella.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I've heard
I still
about
haven't
this
experienced that
Nutella.
one yet.
Okay, don't.
Okay.
Yeah, just save yourself time.
Isn't that supposed to be healthy, though, or no? I always heard it was.
When you start dipping cookies in the Nutella, it's not that healthy. Which may or may not have been my fat kid moment of the week, was dipping a oatmeal raisin cookie in there and using the Nutella like frosting almost.
Oh, man. Yeah.
That was good. I did one of those.
That sounds pretty good, actually.
So freaking good.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys, it's so good. But don't do it. But that was it. It's been pretty good otherwise. Down a couple and feeling pretty good. But yeah, and every time I'm eating it, I thought of you and sitting here and being accountable and saying I'm doing this. And I'm like,
which is
Just
even
sent him a
worse.
picture.
Thinking about him makes it even worse, right? So that's that's like an extra layer of accountability.
Man.
So sad. This
we
is my
probably
life
need
right
to
now.
get like, you say you got to get the summer bod going. We need to get like opening day bod going because that is never going to be a good day. That day is always going to be nothing but shit you put in your body.
What is opening
right?
day bod? Like that's like dad bod, right?
Yeah, that's dad bod.
We'll take a dad bod for that because if I go into obese bod, then that's just not going to be any better for opening day, okay? So, this week, I put out there last week that we were going to get after it this week, right? And I did a little bit better. I hit the Peloton a couple times. I even did an ab workout. Shoot, you want me to show? I won't.
No.
But I will tell you, my abs were
Our
sore.
viewership would drop off
right.
immediately.
Exactly.
My abs were sore for about 4 days. That was not okay. I was like, man, I am a hurting person right now. But, I still am trying to get away from that damn fast food stuff sometimes.
Really?
You get that moment like the other night, we're on the way home, Wednesday night, we're coming home, and my daughter's like, Dad, let's hit Chick-fil-A for dinner. And I'm like, cool. They got some good salads. I can just do something decent. I do grilled chicken instead of fried chicken.
No.
But in the moment you did.
Well,
No.
in the moment, I got myself an Oreo cookie shake. Is what happened. I did get that with a salad, but I got an Oreo cookie shake with my salad. So that's how I was rolling. I replaced one with the other. So
Wow.
yeah,
it's such an extreme mindset when it comes to eating right.
Totally.
You got to go all in.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine having families where you guys have all these different
Yeah.
teasers in the refrigerator or in the cupboards, man.
Oh.
They can't be good or hard. It's got to be hard.
Yeah, so for me, I'm like, honey, bring Cliff Bars and not kale chips, but stuff like that. Where it's just like if I go into the pantry and I grab a snack, it's a good one. Well, then we have teenage girls and they're like, "What is this garbage?"
and they can throw anything down, and it's like nothing, man.
Yeah, they lose weight eating crap.
Right.
I walk by the stuff and my pants get tighter.
Right.
This is not cool. But you have to keep that stuff in there. We have to be disciplined enough to go, that's for the girls. Usually, this stuff is for us, and it is so hard. The temptation is crazy. Because if it was just me single and I just had, Cliff Bars and health food, okay, that's what my options are.
Right.
Well, see, I keep my fridge that way, but then, like you're saying, man, it's the fast food, it's the convenience of just driving through and picking something up.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard, and healthy food just doesn't taste good. I don't care who you are.
100% agree with you. Unless you dip it in Nutella or something.
Dip it in Nutella.
Well, let's do this, man. We're getting up on the hour. Let's do this. If you were to leave people with something today that they can implement to their lives, what would that be? What would you tell them to go do?
I don't want to go too in depth, but I've over the last 3 to 6 months, and this is actually post you going through the program. I have this Win by Noon. There's actually a coaching program out there called Win by Noon. I didn't know it existed, but so I created that tagline, and it already existed. But I've been doing this whole Win by Noon concept, and I also do Don't Break the Chain. So Jerry Seinfeld, when he first started writing comedy, he would write 20 to 30 minutes of content every single day for like 30 years. He put a calendar up on the wall, and every day he wrote, he would do an X. He had this Don't Break the Chain thing going. So one of the new things that we have in the program is we combine personal development with professional development, and I just do a 1/ for personal development, 1/ for professional development, and it's like a Don't Break the Chain.
Okay.
And so I do 50 minutes of exercise, which is like 30 minutes intensive. That's for the body. So I'm very much a Covey person.
Yeah.
So whole person theory, right? Mind, body, heart, spirit.
Yep.
So I do 50 minutes for the body every single morning now, and it's been awesome.
I know you're looking a little good
Yeah,
right
man,
here.
I've been trying.
Single ladies.
That swim up bar, man, it got me going. So 50 minutes for the body, 30 minutes for the mind, because one of the things as a coach and as a professor is we all listen to these podcasts, right? And we're driving down the road, and we really don't do anything with it. We're not intentional with our listening.
Correct.
Right.
So one of the things that I now coach people on is, you can listen to something when you're on the treadmill or whatever, but then 30 minutes, do you sit down and just actually map out and do something with it then, like intentional learning. So 30 minutes is for the mind. 10 minutes, then I do the gratitude. So I do 10 minutes of personal gratitude, whether it's my gratitude, whether it's sending out cards, whether it's texting, calling people. So that's for the heart. Yep. So I've done something for the body. I've done something for the mind. I've done something for the heart. And then I just do my CRM or my planning for the day. And so that's the personal development. If I do that, and it's 100 minutes, so it's not like it's easy. But if I do that one thing, that's a /
Yep.
And then I go do my proactive prospecting. So I do 50 minutes of new conversations or new business, 30 minutes of my favorite people, 10 minutes of my connectors, my business-to-business referral partners, and then 10 minutes of other. So it's a 5-3-1-1 system for both of those. That's 200 minutes. And then I added 40 minutes, not to overwhelm people, with marketing. So I do 30 minutes of marketing stuff, posts, social media, and I do 10 minutes Go-Giver. So then I do 3-1. So, guys, I have this new 4-hour work day concept. You guys have probably heard of Timothy Ferriss' 4-hour work week. I don't care who you are. That doesn't exist for 99% of us, right? So I do a 4-hour work day now, a win by noon concept, and it has changed my life of just, if I do these things, then, because as entrepreneurs, it's never going to be enough.
Correct.
Right? And so there's a frustration gap. So that's really what this process now that we've created is like changed my life, and now I see it changing other people's lives, and it's fun.
So cool.
Yeah. And the win by noon is legit. So I started doing that last year. That's the planner I use. It is phenomenal. It is truly that, right? You are getting, it does sound overwhelming, all the things that you're doing, but you're doing it in 4 hours. What you're doing is you're really getting your time scheduled correctly, which, like, Justin is the king of that because of his assistant Coral. I mean, Justin's good too, but, but he's so good at his scheduling, right? So you can get those 4 hours knocked out, and then you can build on the second half of the day. Yeah. So I love that, man. I think that is a huge thing. We're actually doing a little switch up, just so y'all know. We are going to be changing the name of the podcast.
What?
Yeah. We like Smack Talk, but we're going to actually, we talk a lot more about winning and what you do to win in life and those types of things. And so we're going to switch the name over to Win, and we'll get that launched and get it marketed and branded and all that stuff going. But it's right along with that stuff, right?
Yeah,
just win. Just win, baby. Even though I don't like the Raiders.
Gross.
Is that's
their thing. Yeah, that's their thing.
Okay.
Just
which they haven't done for a while.
They haven't done it. It's more like just be mediocre at best lately.
Right. Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
Bruce, what's the best way people can reach you, find you, give a little expectation on what this 90-day program is, what they can expect, and
So our website is just 90daysales.com. If you go there, we have it all laid out, but it really is. I call it the whole person theory. Or I don't call it that. Covey calls it that, but I call it the whole salesperson.
Okay.
So there's really 5 habits that we focus on. Number 1 is having something to say, opportunity statement, right?
Yep.
Most people, like, this is the number 1 thing that we get asked, but most people just commoditize themselves, and they don't know how to tell their story or package it and all that kind of stuff. So that's one of the habits. And then we go through that proactive prospecting system. So I have 10 different categories of people that we really help you go after. It's very intentional. Then we have a follow-up system, right? We all know the fortunes in the follow-up. So we have like a touch with value, 10-touch system to drastically increase close ratio, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Unique customer experience. So we have like a 90-day onboarding process. How do you take a new client, convert them to a promoter, to an advocate that feeds you the business? So we actually use the 5 love languages, Gary Chapman. So we kind of convert that into the sales world. As you guys can tell, I'm really good at borrowing concepts and then
it's all
what we all do.
None of this is really that original at this point. It's just putting it all together.
Yeah, so that's really what the program is. It's the best of hits. It's really, I've studied Cardone and Buffini and Ferry and Ninja and all the core. I've studied all these things, and in my opinion, this is like a 90 days best hits. And a lot of programs claim that they have high accountability. And when I ask them, like, what are you doing? Well, we do a bi-weekly phone call. Like, that's the accountability. So we have a daily virtual training platform. Stop and give me 20 or 30 minutes every single day to go through this process. Once a week, we meet for 90 minutes, 45 minutes of me doing my thing, 45 minutes with your mastermind and your accountability groups. So I truly believe there's nothing out there when it comes to just a very 90-day intensive program. We have 450 pages of content, so it's not easy. It's very educational as far as the training comes, but it's like, it literally is like everybody goes through Monday, day 1, Tuesday, day 2. Everybody's going through the exact same pace and rate. And so, again, everybody that goes through it, it's transformational. It truly is. Yeah. And so I want to create a movement. I don't want to just move the needle a little bit. I want this to be like a phenomenon. Like, hey, have you gone through that 90-day sales thing? Kind of like P90X was a phenomenon for a long time, right? And so that's what we're trying to create.
Look at me.
Yeah.
Did it twice.
Like 10 years ago.
You did a P2X over here.
So, I don't want to oversell the program, man, but it's, obviously we've worked really hard over these last 2 years to make it what it is now, and now we're truly changing lives through it, which is
it is, you guys, it is a very tough program, but it is legit. If you follow the things that he has set up for you for the daily plans and those things, you will find success in it. It is, you do need to be accountable, right? And that's a big thing for you on that program, is being accountable to yourself, right? Which is going to help you be accountable to everybody else. So it's a great program. I went through it. It was awesome, man. So definitely there's my little plug for you.
I appreciate it. And then one of the things that we do that is different and unique is we combine real estate, mortgage, title, insurance, financial, We're starting to do CPAs, accountants,
Right on.
attorneys, and personal trainers, because sales is sales.
It's sales.
Right?
Yeah, 100%.
So I want to be the champion coach for solopreneurs. Like, that's my new thing. There's a lot of coaching programs for scaling your business and growing teams. And I understand why. You guys can pay for it, right? Like, you guys have the money to pay for it.
Yep.
But I want to be the champion solopreneur coach. That's the chief cook and bottle washer.
Yeah.
That like the operations a lot of times falls on them, and the selling and the mindset and the marketing. So that's really what we're creating now with this group of hyper growth minded people that are going through this process. They train together, they grow together, they hold each other accountable, they go to events together, they host events together. So that's where we're trying to build this true 90-day sales community, not only in Denver, but now in Vegas and Sacramento and Phoenix and a bunch of different markets. So I could go on and on, but
I love it.
Yeah.
These are for the grinders. These are the
Yes,
people that are
it
willing to
is.
put in the work.
Exactly.
I love this.
That's exactly
man.
right.
That's the audience we love and hope to connect with. And I love what you're doing in that regard, because that audience does move the needle in this market, no matter what they're selling. It's those people that will affect change and create a new direction. So
That's right.
Man, I'm pumped up.
Well, guys, I appreciate it.
I'm ready to do some
pumped
work,
up.
baby.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. So we may tap into you again on some things and maybe have some just tidbits here and there if you're okay with that.
Awesome. Yeah.
We'd love to have some input, because we're just doing what we do.
That's right.
We need some help on the outside too. So, man, this was fun. What do the Super Bowl this weekend?
Let's go.
Are you guys ready?
Well, I'm a Michigan guy, so go Pats. I've adopted the Patriots just because of Tom Brady. Let's be honest.
I mean, he is the greatest of all time. I would love him if he played for the Broncos or the Bears, but he doesn't, so I hate him.
Hate's a strong word, man.
Yeah, that's how I feel. So my prediction this week is the only chance the NFC has was if the Rams were there. They got there by luck, and they shouldn't be there, but they're there.
They're there.
And because of that, I'm going with the Rams. I think the Rams win
I could
this
see
game.
them win. I will say this. To your point, if the Saints were in it, I think the Patriots would probably blow them out.
Yeah, they were going to.
I don't disagree. Yeah, I think that's fair.
But I think the Rams match up with them well.
Yeah.
Putting on my little sport business hat right
That's
now.
right,
So
that's
so you guys probably don't know this, but I was a professor in the Texas A&M system, and I ran the sport business program.
Did
so
you
this
really?
is taking me back in my.
This is it.
Yeah.
Any interactions with Johnny Football?
No, he was there when I was there, though.
Really?
So I actually wasn't actually at the A&M. I was down in like Corpus
In their
Christi.
systems, right
Yeah.
on. Okay,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
But I did go to a game, though, and if you guys have never been to a Texas A&M, the 12
Heard
man,
the
it's
12
fun, man.
I've heard it's
Yeah.
crazy. Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Who
awesome.
you
That's
taking,
actually real quickly. That's one thing I want to do. I want to start creating like a fun, cool place for people to go, like once a year, like a tailgate. Like just pick a random place, whether it's Eugene or something like that, and just have our
A 90
our
sales
little
tailgate.
solopreneur, real estate mortgage title. Just make a fun, cool trip out of it.
I just got goosebumps.
There you go.
I'm like, I want to go.
Where you guys going?
Let's
90
go.
day sales
90 day. We're going to tailgate.
Cancun.
Prediction, I like the Rams in this one, but the sure prediction for me is I will be hovering around the nachos at my parents' house that we're going to have.
Fat boy moment right there.
It's just going to happen. I'm
Dude,
just owning
it's
it. So
it's
I'm
Super
like,
Bowl.
I'm on a mission until Sunday and after Sunday, but I'm like, it's Super Bowl. I'm going to have some nachos. That's what I'm going to do. So,
Hey guys, nothing but love for you. Thanks for plugging as always, Bruce. Man, it's always good to be around you. Love hearing what you have to say.
Likewise,
it's so
my friend. Appreciate it,
inspirational,
guys.
and we just love it, man. So until next week, you guys, nothing but love for
Right
you. Have
on.
a great week. We'll see you then.
thanks, guys.
Bye.
Don't get in any trouble at the Super Bowl.
Or do.
Or do.